Welcome aboard, folks. Here we go to another evening of Your Voice Counts. Glad to be on Fridays. Got a 2-hour show here, and glad to have it to honor our great men and women in service right now, and of course the men and women that will be serving in the future, which it looks like if things keep on going like they are right now, that they're going to need a lot of them. But my guest today is Mr. Ernie Gallo. He is a very well-versed, a very intelligent man, and he's a survivor of the attack on the USS Liberty, our ship, June 8, 1967. And I'm very honored to have Ernie as a guest, and as being a survivor, it means a lot to me, very, very much. So, Ernie, just hang on for a little bit, because I always have to do Liberty business and RBN business, and then we'll get you on there. But just hang in there with me, Ernie, and then we'll get you on. But it'll be a very interesting show, and I believe our dear friend Ron Kukoc is going to call in too. And folks, if you want to call into RBN and voice your opinion about what's going on in the world, and about the USS Liberty, the Middle East, or anything that's on your mind that pertains to this great land, please call 877-488-5350. That's Studio B at RBN. They've done a little change there at RBN. They got 2 studios now, A and B, which is just wonderful. And I really appreciate that. I'm glad they're growing. I want everybody to know that I'm not on Skype tonight. I'd like to be, but I just couldn't get on. I don't know what the deal is. It could be the weather. It could be a lot of other things. Who knows? But anyway, the phone line's working, and if that doesn't work, I'll try my cell phone. But I would like to start off the show, as I always do, with today with deep regret and sorrow in the state of Colorado. There are many victims of a horrific, terrible crime that one individual took out on his own and murdered a bunch of innocent people in a movie theater in Aurora, Colorado. At the Century Theater. I've been there before. I don't know what his motive was, and I guess I don't know if we'll ever know, but I do know that the little weenie surrendered without a struggle. He's a 24-year-old intellectual from San Diego to transfer to Colorado, and supposedly a very, very intelligent, smart person, but screw him. I'm not worried about him. I'm worried about the people that were hurt and killed, and little kids, and it just breaks my heart, and I just wish them all well. I know there's at least 12 people killed and over 70 wounded, some very severely and critically, and Godspeed to them, and let's hope that they pull through. Folks, we're going to go to a break, and then we'll continue. Support your sponsors on all this great radio station, RBN. So it's a real station that you can believe in. So do what you can, and we'll be right back. Thank you.
Chlorine, fluoride, pathogens, and more are in the water you drink day to day. Do you want the ability to remove and reduce those harmful things in the water you drink? You can. How? With a Berkey water filter. a complete standalone gravity filter system that requires no electricity and no plumbing. Used for emergencies or for every day. Berkey systems come in 7 different sizes. Where can you get one? From GetBerkey.com. That's GetBerkey.com. With the purchase of each system, you get 50% off accessories, such as fluoride filters, water level spigot, and sport bottles. Plus, free shipping on all orders over $25. For a limited time, get 5% off all ceramic systems when you use coupon code RBN. Call Get Berkey at 855-GET-BERKEY. That's 855-438-2375. Or visit GetBerkey.com. That's GetBerkey.com.
Don't answer it! How can I stop these annoying collection calls?
Imagine being free from your debt without settling and with no payment plan, no negotiating or filing bankruptcy, and no attorneys. What if you could eliminate the risk from all your unsecured debt in about 90 days and keep all your money? You can. It's called Zero Debt Guarantee, and it works. There's no other program of its kind on the planet, and we guarantee the results in writing. Call now, 800-477-9256. Let our team of experts provide you with the resources to fight back, stop collection calls, and prevent and stop wage garnishments and bank levies. If you're facing foreclosure, we can help. Don't go it alone. Get free information now by calling 800-477-9256. Talk to an expert who has also completed our program. Call 800-477-9256 for free info, or go to ZeroDebtGuarantee.com. That's 800-477-9256, or go to ZeroDebtGuarantee.com.
As business becomes more difficult, control of cash and the ability to borrow becomes critical. Working capital cash is your greatest insurance and guarantee of financial stability in these uncertain times. Equipment leasing allows you to obtain the income-producing equipment that your business needs and pay for it with tax-free, ever-devaluing dollars. Money that you've already earned and paid taxes on should be sparingly used. That is your reserve capital, safety net. We are also able to buy and lease back equipment that you already own and have depreciated, thereby making more cash available for your present-day needs. For a complete, comprehensive explanation as to how this financial truth will benefit your business future, call Bob New Incorporated at 888-639-2621. 888-639-2621. Keep your working capital cash reserves and borrowing capability. 888-639-2621.
Well, finally, the ocean truth back to Washington sent out a message that the ship moved farther out to sea. There were too many errors and too much time wasted. The bombs were coming down. It would be too late for liberty. Oh, please, can you tell me why so many of my brothers died? Was it some sort of game of freedom? Or was it just some kind of horrible lie? Oh, please, can you tell me why so many of my brothers died?
Welcome back, folks. Here we go to Your Voice Counts on Republic Broadcasting Network. Real talk, real news, real people, because you can't handle the truth. And that's just the fact, folks. And I want to start off and let you know, listen, my guest that'll be on here in just a minute, and many other people and survivors that have been on my show, we're not here to run anybody down. We're trying to get the truth out. But we're not going to be rubber banded by anybody, including Israel, and told that we're anti-Semites for telling the truth. So that's just the way it is. I mean, the truth shall prevail. But, you know, I do this show for the survivors, And I put a lot of time and effort into it, and a lot of thought, and a lot of prayer, and talked to my wife about it, and family and friends, and they're all happy I do it because there was an injustice done. And our fallen mates did not deserve that terrible, terrible injustice. All we've ever asked for is a fair hearing, just a fair one. You know, justice is what we demand. It's what we demand. And we should get that justice. We haven't gotten that justice. The murderers of our crewmates have been forgotten by many, and so many don't even know about what happened June 8, 1967, up until this very moment here on the radio at this great station, Republic Broadcasting Network, based in the great state of Texas. And what my guest will come on in just a little bit, and we'll talk quite extensively about things that have gone on. But our country's support, ladies and gentlemen, for this rogue country that murdered our shipmates and almost murdered my guest, Ernie Gallo, and myself, have gotten by with it. But the 34 men, the 34 souls that were lost that day, and 25 of them, folks, 25 of them worked with my guest tonight in the CT spaces where the torpedo went off. 174 were wounded, including myself. I was one of the walking wounded. Physically, I'm probably as good a shape as I can be in for being 65 years old. But I can tell that, time is working on me. Mentally, I'm probably a mental midget sometimes when I think about what happened to us that day and how it happened and the circumstances and the great people I've talked to over the years, Admiral Thomas Moore and Admiral Starring, and just on and on and on. Philip Giraldi, CIA, I know that Ernie knows him. And, we were attacked on the high seas without provocation. Our flag was flying. The government of Israel knew exactly who we were. And our government put us in that jeopardy of 294 souls going to the bottom of the ocean. And I say that with great disrespect. I said respect, I apologize for that. Great disrespect to our government, who has covered this up for the last 45 years. 45 years. We've been trying to get justice. That's all we want is our fair day in court. And if they find out or think that we're a bunch of nuts or whatever, I don't think that'll ever happen. We have too many facts, too many great things, too many books out, too many great people behind us, too many documentations, and on and on and on and on. But it seems like when it comes to Israel, Israel comes first in any instance, just like Rachel Corrie getting mowed over by a Caterpillar tank, basically. Stare at the man in the eyes that was driving that vehicle. And poor Rachel Corrie was mowed down. Not only mowed down, she was run over. She didn't die instantly, but she died in the hospital. But she did it for a reason. She did it for the cause of the Palestinians. And these people have paid dearly ever since 1967. And our bought paid for, I'll just tell it the way I feel, our bought and paid for prostitutes in Congress support AIPAC, ADL, and they support Israel more than they support our American soldiers and sailors and Marines. You know, I really don't get it, but I'd like to get it. I'd like to figure it out. That's why I do this radio show. So I guess the real power, folks, is it lies in Israel, and if people would just understand that and research it just a little bit, and this is not a show of anti-Semitism. It's not a show of let's just run down every Jew in the United States of America. It's not geared that way. What we're geared towards is the truth, sworn by God on a Bible for the truth. And I will not settle for anything else until the day I die. Because I know that people like myself, Ernie Gallo, Ron Kukl, Gary Brummett, many, many, many others have done so much. Dick Thompson, a great, 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 great man. Admiral Thomas More, Admiral Starring, and I have a list that I could just go on and on and on. So, folks, this is why I do the show, and it's in honor of my mates. It's in honor of the dead and their families, and they will never be forgotten in our eyes. Now, RBN, what a great radio station, and thank you, John Statmiller, for giving me 2 hours to honor our mates, our country, and our servicemen. You're a good man for doing that, and you're a great man for having the people that work on your broadcast network. Manny, Mike, Chris, all the board operators, it just goes on and on and on. I thank you very, very much. And I know you have a drive going on, a pledge drive. So, folks, if you can spare a few bucks, go to republicbroadcasting.org. Give them some cash. And we got 2 studios going now. We got new people coming on board. Great, great, great people. And while I'm thinking about that, I want to thank another guest that is on Republic Broadcasting is Michael Collins Piper, probably one of the most honest, devoted, loving men I've ever met in my life. He came out with a new book. It's called Now, listen, I'm not real good on words, so I'm just going to spell it. The CHIAPHAS Complex. CAIAPHAS Complex. Now, you can get this book through American Free Press, and I think if you get a hold of RBN, Michael will be glad to get you a book. And also his other book, he finished a while back, The Confessions of an Anti-Semite, is just fantastic. So thank you, Mike, Mr. Michael Collins Piper, a good friend of mine, for your great contribution, not only to getting the truth out, but for making sure that people understand the words, that what you say, and it's a very easy read, so please do it. Now, we're getting close to getting to our guest, our very special guest, Mr. Ernie Gallo, and I appreciate you, Ernie, for hanging on there. I want to thank Kat Barber. And now, listen, we'll come right back, folks. Support your sponsors on Republic Broadcasting Network, because you can handle the truth. And we'll be back in a minute. Thank you for hanging on. God bless you. See you in a minute.
Coming down, it would be too late for liberty.
In an emergency situation, would you drink contaminated water? You could if you have the amazing LifeStraw from MyPatriotSupply.com. LifeStraw is the most advanced personal water filter available today. It filters contaminated water from almost any source. LifeStraw is lightweight and compact, perfect for hiking, camping, or in an emergency like a flood. LifeStraw is easy to clean, comes with a 1-year warranty, and has been used worldwide since 2005. Get the amazing LifeStraw personal water filter at mypatriotsupply.com. Plus, check out Survival Seed Vault, 20 seed varieties for only $37.95. Tatler canning lids, long-term storable foods as low as $69.95, and much more at mypatriotsupply.com. Enjoy stress-free shipping on all orders over $49. Call 866-229-0927 or visit mypatriotsupply.com. That's 866-229-0927. mypatriotsupply.com for emergency preparedness, self-reliance, and food independence.
Do you flinch when a police car appears in your rearview mirror or you get pulled over? Are you squeamish when an envelope arrives in the mail with the return address of a court, a government agency like the IRS, or some law firm? Would you like to escape government agency harassment? Then visit escapeharassment.com. George Bush allegedly says, the government constitution is nothing but a doggone piece of paper. Well, that's a contract. A contract is an offer acceptance of that offer, at which point a contract arrives by law and the offerer can no longer withdraw the offer. We teach, do not accept. That way there is no contract or agreement for you to go to their court or private club meeting. To escape government agency harassment like the IRS, visit escapeharassment.com. This is a tried and proven experience process, not experimental, with a money-back guarantee that it works and success testimonials from previous students. Remember, escapeharassment.com. That's escapeharassment.com.
An effective 100% organic nutritional supplement is now available to be shipped out to you rush delivery. Heart and Body Extract is a 100% natural, organic, and wild-crafted formula made out of garlic, hawthorn berries, hawthorn leaves, coleus, motherwort, bilberry, butcher's broom kelp, mistletoe, ginger, and cayenne pepper. It is an excellent formula designed to balance and support the heart and circulatory system. It is extremely effective and starts to work within days. Order your 2-month supply by visiting heartandbody.com or by calling 866-295-5305. 866-295-5305. Take the high road to a long and happy life. Heartandbody.com.
They said that Israeli forces knew not of the Liberty's true identity, and so they took advantage of the serenity. They attacked the silent ship, making a 40-foot hole in the starboard, killing 34 and wounding almost 200 more. They're just sending down merciless napalm, and looked like a devil Star Wars. And the Liberty fell like a wounded and dying lamb. The men and the lions betrayed, and their souls were surely damned. And all the fear and the death and the pain will never depart me. I'll hear the bomb again. I'll hear the bomb again. I'll hear the bomb again.
Welcome back, folks. Here we go to Your Voice Counts. Thank you for hanging on. And thank you for supporting the sponsors that support RBN. It's important that we support them and we take care of them. And we take care of this great radio station, Republic Broadcasting Network. It's just, it's a way to voice your freedom. It's a way to voice your feelings. And it's a way to give back. That's the way I feel. It's a way to give back. I've been given a chance. Not many have been given. It is a chance to give back, a chance to tell people what I've learned. And I just, whenever I hear, Kat's voice, Kat Faber, Faber, I'm truly in love with my wife, Lisa. I love her dearly, and I love Kat dearly too. And by the way, Rick, her husband, I love him dearly too. He's such a great guy for being so supportive of Kat and all she's done, getting guests, being the producer. It has just been, without her, I don't know what I could do. And thank you, Rick, for all your help and support and supporting your beautiful, beautiful wife. You're very lucky, as I am, to be married to a wonderful woman. And I want to also thank Kat's parents that are such neat people. Helen and Harvey. Those great. And, Harvey is spelled like Harley Davidson. And, her dad is a inventor, and he invented a rock picker. This guy invented how to pick up rocks and get rid of them. So congratulations to him, and he's got new patents on the way. So thank you, Kat. Thank you, Rick, very, very much for all your support and your help with Kat. And thank you, Helen and Harley, for listening in. And I want to thank a very dear friend of mine, just a very, very special friend of mine, is John Gadesco. John was a former intelligence officer aboard the USS Liberty. He got off just before we pushed off, about a month before Jim Ennis Jr. took his duty, and then John, God bless his soul, went somewhere else, and it wasn't to the bottom of the ocean or having a bullet put behind his head or a torpedo blow him up. So, I just want to thank everybody, and go to John's site. It's tinyurl.com/USS Liberty. tinyurl.com/USS Liberty for the finest, very finest USS Liberty site there is on the internet. And I must say also, James Morris has a great site too. It's called ushijack.com if you want to get to the truth about what's going on and has been going on. So folks, I want to bring on my guest here, but first I want to just read a couple things about Ernie's bio. Ernest A. Gallo, graduate of Philadelphia Wireless Technical Institute with the undergraduate studies at the University of Maryland. While serving in the Navy Reserve, he left active duty as a second-class petty officer, communications technician, maintenance branch, CTM2. Now, maintenance branch, folks, I'm not a C2, but a CT, but I do know all the terms now, and I know what they do. But I'm not going to mention anything on the show. It's not my place to. Ernie is a USS Liberty survivor, but he's much, much more than that, and I'll get into that in just a moment. Completed a 28-year career with the Central Intelligence Agency and received a CIA Civilian Intelligence Award, the CIA Commendation Medal. Following the CIA, he worked for GTE Quality Services Incorporated, Tricorps, Macaroni International, and British Aerospace Enterprises. And I didn't know that Ernie was in the aerospace industry, but I do now. Folks, I'll finish Ernie's bio when we come back, and then we got a good long run. So remember, folks, support RBN and their sponsors, and remember, real talk, real news, real people on RBN. Thank you. God bless you.
You're listening to the Republic Broadcasting Network, because you can handle the truth.
Do you need that sustained boost of energy, but want a more natural way of attaining it without the jolt and crash or the jitters you get from coffee and energy drinks? Zoom Tea is the healthy, sugar-free pick-me-up for body, mind, and soul. Does your coffee help you with weight control, mental clarity, anti-cancer properties, or give you an immune system boost? How about helping to stabilize your blood pressure, reduce your cholesterol, and increase your regularity? Now you can have all these health benefits with Zoom Tea. Check out ZoomTea.com or call our friendly staff at 575-936-7000. That's 575-936-7000. A 1-month supply of Zoom Tea is only $20, and you get free shipping. Add chai seed to your order for only $12.95 to increase your benefits. Go to ZoomTea.com. That's ZoomTea.com to learn more.
Hey, honey, I'm home. I grabbed the newspaper on the way home. Look at all the news today.
Don't you know that all you're going to get in the newspaper is propaganda, twisted news, and false information?
Honey, this is a national newspaper. It has to be true.
Ha! For some reason, the majority of the population believe anything the mainstream media tells them. The newspaper doesn't give out the important attention of what's happening to this country and news that affects our daily lives. Say, does that newspaper mention anything about the North American Union?
No, not that I can see.
I didn't think so. You need to go to www.newswithviews.com, where truth is more important than political correctness. That's www.newswithviews.com. Hey, don't throw that away. We can use that in the birdcage.
Okay, move over. Let me start reading newswithviews.com.
The truth? Read all about it at newswithviews.com. Newswithviews.com, where reality shatters illusion.
If you're the mother of a child with behavior problems, I'd like to talk to you. My name is Janet Lehman. I'm a behavioral therapist and a mom. I know what it's like when the child you love becomes a defiant, out-of-control child who disrespects you. That's why my husband James and I created the Total Transformation, the program that tens of thousands of moms are now using to turn around their child's behavior. If you've heard about the Total Transformation and wondered if it will work for you, now you can try it for free. I'm willing to give away 1,000 programs today for free. All you need to do is get the program and let us know how it works for you. We'll let you keep it for free. I know the Total Transformation works because I used these techniques with my own son and with troubled kids for over 30 years. Let me prove to you that it works by giving you the program for free.
Call now. 1-800-583-1093. 1-800-583-1093. That's 1-800-583-1093.
The time has finally come for the story to be told that should have been listened to a long time ago. In 1967, on the 8th day of June, came the attack of the Liberty and the needless loss of many of the crew, and the Liberty fell like a wounded dying lamb. The man in the light.
Welcome back, folks, to Your Voice Counts. And believe me, your voice does count on Republic Broadcasting Network. It counts more than you'll ever know. It's just an outstanding production John Statneller put together, and I'm just thrilled again to be on the show. I've been on it, on my own here for, about a year and a half now, something like that. And I was on the Liberty Hour, and I had Ernie Gallo. I think he was my first guest on the Liberty Hour, but I wanted to finish Ernie's bio and then say a couple more words, and I'm going to bring on my shipmate and friend, Ernie Gallo. I'm going to start off again here with, following the CIA, he worked for GTE Quality Services Incorporated, that's called Tricorps, Macaroni International, and British Aerospace Enterprises, BAE, taking him into retirement. Well, I don't think he's in retirement yet because he works too hard on the USS Liberty. Ernie is a member of the Elks, as I am. Veterans of Foreign Wars, the Navy League, the Naval Cryptology Veterans Association, the USS Liberty Veterans Association, the American Cold War Veterans. He is the former president and vice president of the USS Liberty Veterans Association and founder of the Liberty Veterans Foundation. Now, when Ernie was president, I just know every time he got an email or phone call from me, he didn't want to hear it. But Ernie was a great president. He led our organization into great prosperity, and people respect him for that, as I do, and all others should as well. Now, to get to the crux of our ship, there were two different crews aboard the USS Liberty. There were ship's company, which I was in, and there were the spooks, and that would be the communication technicians. Now, our job as ship's company was to, for no better word or a good word, is to make sure these men got their job done. Coddle them, if you may, as our job was to make sure the CTs could do their job. And I never realized how important my job and the jobs of the other crew members that were not communication technicians was to this very important job that these men had. Ernie Gallo and all of these crew members, and 2/3 of the ship folks were CTs. And their mission was very, very sensitive and very dangerous, and it was on a need-to-know basis. And I want to say, with a great respect and honor, the respect I have for the communications technicians, and I know a few of them personally, and Phillip Tourney, he died, and several others down there that we used to work out and stuff like that. But these men, with the torpedoes coming, 5 of them stood their ground. They didn't run out of the bowels of the ship like rats and run away. They stood their ground, and God bless them for that. They didn't have to, but they did. The same thing for the engineering department. Gary Brummett, George Golden, and many, many others that stood their ground when the torpedoes were coming. Can you imagine that, folks? How many people do you know that has been hit by a torpedo and lived to tell about it? When our ship got hit, I thought, well, if they hit the engineering department, we're done. Just as soon as the torpedo hit, I knew it didn't hit the engineering. I know exactly where it hit. It hit in the CT spaces. I was in damage control, and I just knew it. So with that being said, I know I've got two heroes on the phone here, Ernie Gallo and Ron Kukul, and thank you, Ernie Gallo, for coming on. Your voice counts. Thank you for serving aboard the USS Liberty. Thank you for your service to your country, and thank you for your continued service to the cause of the USS Liberty. Welcome aboard. Ernie.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm speaking in my phone.
Okay. Welcome aboard, Ernie. Go ahead.
All right. I want your listening audience to know that if it wasn't for you, that I wouldn't be here today. When Phil was talking about the engineers and providing the services to get from point A to point B to do what we had to do, the one word he left out was to safely get us there, and that he did. And as it turns out, the USS Liberty is the most decorated naval ship for a single engagement in the history of our Navy. And one of the medals that was deserved was Phil Tourney. And I was very fortunate that I did not receive any wounds, and all I could do at the time was my best to help the wounded. But the point is, Phil and the other damage controlmen and engineers did what they had to do to keep the ship afloat and moving and to take us out of harm. So, Phil, thank you so much for what you have done, and thank you for your radio show. What you're doing is so important. I think when we get into the Liberty story and why it's so important to the American public, you're doing a great job.
Well, thank you, Ernie, and I want you, if you would please, Ernie, take us back to 1967 and let us know what you can about your thoughts and what was going through your mind, and I know you're not going to give up any secrets, and I'm not asking you to. Everything is 45 years old, but I know it's still top secret. But what was your view, or your overall view with your shipmates of what was going on, Ernie, at that time?
If you mean during the attack?
Well, actually, just before the attack, the day or two before we got there, Ernie.
Curiosity, amazement. What can I say? We normally sailed up and down the west coast of Africa. That was our routine. 4 months of sailing up and down the west coast of Africa. And then all of a sudden, as we start into our routine, we were in Abidjan, Ivory Coast, and we get a message to weigh anchor and go to Rota, Spain to pick up material and personnel and to go into the Mediterranean. And this was very unusual and very it was ruined. Let's say the routine of mail and all the things that we would normally do on our 4-month cruise. So we head into the Mediterranean, and all of a sudden now we're being shadowed by Russian military ships, and that was what's the word I'm looking for? It's very suspicious, and now it seemed like we were getting into something that heretofore was just very unusual and nerve-wracking. I want to say this with the deepest sincerity too, that the reason that we were sent to the area of our operation. Keep in mind, and this especially to our distractors who want to say that we shouldn't have been there. In those days, we didn't have the spy satellites we do today, and we were the eyes and ears of the West. So it was important to know who was doing the fighting and how it actually was taking place. Now, that was, I think, the concept of sending us there to begin with. After all, if the Russians were flying Egyptian aircraft, we would want to know that. But as it turns out, the war started on the 5th of June, and we arrived on site June 8th, and the Egyptian, Jordanian, and Syrian air forces were taken out by the Israelis, and they had occupied the Sinai, and that's where we were posted, just off the coast of El Harish. So, in other words, the job that we had to do was almost non-important. And I think Washington knew that, too, because they sent a message to us to leave the area and pull back 100 miles from the coast. That message never got to us, and it was a real message. I mean, this was not part of our story or anything like that. This message got misplaced and misspent all over the world. And leaving Washington, the first place the message went was to the Philippines versus to the Atlantic. So it's a real irony to the story. Nevertheless, the Israelis did not have to attack the ship for any reason whatsoever, because we were not a man of war, and they could have ordered us to do anything they wanted. After all, how could we fight them off? And it's only through the grace of God that we didn't sink, and we're here to tell the story. And the story is very important to the American public, especially now.
Ernie, you made a good point there when you said man of war, because our ship was an auxiliary ship, geographical, technical research ship, number 5, and a man of war would have guns, well, like a destroyer or something of that nature.
Right.
That would be a man of war or aircraft.
Missile placements, torpedo tubes,
Sure.
Yes, and 3-inch guns, and we did not. We were a converted cargo ship with massive antennas from stem to stern. So, for the Israelis had a choice that morning, and the order, why they gave the order to sink the ship, had to be, in my mind, that they wanted to send a message to the United States.
Okay, Ernie, do you think this message they sent to the United States was in coordination with LBJ, McNamara, and the powers that be, the underlings such as John McCain Jr. And their subordinates? Was it a handful of people? Was it 20 people? What are your thoughts on that, Ernie?
I really don't think that this started off to be any kind of a conspiracy. This was just a thing that happened, that it went wrong because of decisions that were made in Tel Aviv, and now it was, what do we do to get out of this mess? And it goes from there. What I'm trying to say here is that, and that's why I spent a lot of time specifically talking about that message being missent. From everything that I've read and people that I've talked to, I fully believe that it was not a conspiracy. But now, after the attack, now it was, okay, what do we do to cover this thing up? How do we quiet it up? What do we do to make sure that our relationship with Israel does not deteriorate? After all, there probably will be people screaming to go to war with Israel for attacking the ship and killing 34 Americans. And the underlying point here is that since we were in international waters, flying an American flag, this was the willful attempted murder of 294 Americans. People just don't understand that. Because they used a torpedo, they wanted that ship to sink. And we had 294 Americans on board, and especially the wounded that we had on board, they would have died for sure, and we wouldn't be here telling the story. So people need to know that these are the kinds of people that are in control of Tel Aviv. Now, as far as Admiral McCain goes and the things that happened afterwards to us, it's really sad that it had to go in that direction, but they wanted to cover this thing up and quiet it up as fast as possible, so that politically they could walk away from it, and it was an accident.
Ernie, hang on. We got a break to come through, and then we're going to talk to Ron a little bit too, and we got another hour coming up, folks, and we're going to have a lot of good discussions. We got a few people on the phone. So remember, support your sponsors at RBN. Let's keep this great radio station even greater than it is today. Thank you. We'll see you in just a moment.
Hey, honey, I'm home. I grabbed a newspaper on the way home. Look at all the news today.
Don't you know that all you're going to get in the newspaper is propaganda, twisted news, and false information?
Honey, this is a national newspaper. It has to be true.
Ha! For some reason, the majority of the population believe anything the mainstream media tells them. The newspaper doesn't give out the important attention of what's happening to this country and news that affects our daily lives. Say, does that newspaper mention anything about the North American Union?
No, not that I can see.
I didn't think so. You need to go to www.newswithviews.com, where truth is more important than political correctness. That's www.newswithviews.com. Hey, don't throw that away. We can use that in the birdcage.
Okay, move over. Let me start reading newswithviews.com.
The truth? Read all about it at newswithviews.com. Newswithviews.com, where reality shatters illusion.
If you're the mother of a child with behavior problems, I'd like to talk to you. My name is Janet Lehman. I'm a behavioral therapist and a mom. I know what it's like when the child you love becomes a defiant, out-of-control child who disrespects you. That's why my husband James and I created the Total Transformation, the program that tens of thousands of moms are now using to turn around their child's behavior. If you've heard about the Total Transformation and wondered if it will work for you, now you can try it for free. I'm willing to give away 1,000 programs today for free. All you need to do is get the program and let us know how it works for you. We'll let you keep it for free. I know the Total Transformation works because I used these techniques with my own son and with troubled kids for over 30 years. Let me prove to you that it works by giving you the program for free.
Call now. 1-800-583-1093. 1-800-583-1093. That's 1-800-583-1093.
Are you completely fed up with being dependent on those fat cat electricity monopolies that raise your rates again and again? Are you terrified about how you'll keep your home and family safe when a power crisis happens? 123slashpower.com has set up a free video presentation that exposes the electricity monopolies and government agencies for what they are: incompetent, lying crooks that are counting on your ignorance and fear to keep your power bills criminally high. Some have called this a conspiracy. Others have called it a cover-up, and you'll be shocked to find out how deep the conspiracy goes. The video at 123slashpower.com exposes the truth and shows you the secret to slash your power bill and beat the electricity monopoly for good. Watch the controversial video that thousands of other smart patriots have already seen in the last 3 months. Go to 123slashpower.com and discover one weird trick to cut your power bill and protect your home. Easy to remember, 123slashpower.com. Go watch the video now before they shut it down. Again, that's 123slashpower.com.
Well, finally, the old Prince goes back to Washington, sends out a message that the ship will farther out to sea. There were too many errors and too much time wasted. The walls were coming down. It would be too late.
Welcome back, folks. Here we go back to Your Voice Counts. Thank you for listening on RBN. And I wanted to let people know that beautiful, beautiful angel cat that sings these songs. We're going to try to get, these out there for the people so they can enjoy them and, order them and listen to these songs. And remember the courageous crew of the USS Liberty. And folks, I have to tell you, it's been 45 years, and Ernie and Kukul and Gary Brummett and so many other of us wouldn't be doing this if we just didn't believe that we're dead right. So, Ernie, what are your feelings on that?
Growing up in Philadelphia, I went through 12 years of parochial school, and I was taught certain values. And those values were instilled in me, and something I can't forget. I mean, that my father fought in World War II and passed on those ideals and values. I took the oath to defend the Constitution from internal and external threats twice, and I would be remiss if, because of what I know now and what I experienced, to get out there and tell the American public that America is being threatened from within as we speak, and pay attention to the Liberty story, because it is the you might say the nut that explains the shell that will break loose the rest of this story of what is happening to the United States right now. So yes, I deeply believe that we are right, and that my Lord and God is telling me that to give me the grace to get out there and talk about it, and to let people know that they need to pay attention to what's happening right now, and to what's happened to the Liberty. Absolutely.
Ernie, your testimony there of what your father taught you and the beliefs that you grew up in have served you very, very well. You're a very honest, distinguished member of society and a very valued shipmate and friend. As we have on the line right now Ron Kukul. I want to get Ron on, then we got callers, but it is, again, Ernie, my honor to have you on the show, and we got another hour to go. I hope you can stay on. And we got a lot of other things to go through. But Ron Kukul, are you aboard, sir? Hello, Ron. Perhaps Ron is not here. Okay, he must have took off, man, because he said he was going to be in a bad place with his cell phone. So anyway, folks, we'll get back on the other side. We'll take a call or two, and support sponsors on RBN. We'll get right back to you. Thank you. God bless you.
Oh, please can tell me why so many of my brothers died.
When the collapse comes, are you going to be forced?
Hey, folks, I appreciate you hanging on for this very, very, very important show with a very distinguished, honorable guest and shipmate of mine aboard the USS Liberty. Now, Ernie and I, we weren't in the same position, same division, but that matters none. We were shipmates then, and we're shipmates till the end.
Amen.
Amen. And I just wanted to let everybody know that, especially we got another guy on here. His name is Ron Kirkle. Oh, no, it's Kukl. And, you know, what a guy. I love this guy. I love him so much. We talk almost daily, and Ron had the unfortunate job of being in charge, petty officer in charge. He was first-class petty officer at the time of body recovery and identification. And I know that Ron has a history of trying to, you know, let people know what it's all about and the history of the USS Liberty. And so, Ron, welcome aboard. Your voice counts. I always appreciate you calling in. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, can you hear me this time?
Yes, we can.
Okay. First of all, it's really great to be on here with both you guys, both you and Ernie. I know you're doing what you're doing for one reason and one reason only, and that is to glorify this country, bring it back to what it used to be, what we knew it to be when we were serving in the United States Navy. Ernie, it's good to talk to you. It's great to hear your voice again. I'm not going to take up a whole lot of time here. I will say one thing, that to me the aftermath of this has been worse, almost worse than the attack itself. People doing their best to keep it covered up, putting people in bad positions. The Navy League, what they did to you, I'm very aware of that story. I don't want to stay on here long. Phil has had me on and off this program. I did a lot when I was with when Adlai Stevenson was on, because he literally said, Ernie, in so many words on his program, that he did his best as the head of the Senate Intelligence Committee to try to get a congressional investigation. I have emails from him, and he said it verbally that night that there was no way a congressional investigation nobody was interested. It never happened. If it did happen, he's certainly not aware of it. And he wrote a book on it, The Black Book, that you can be found on Amazon.com, that speaks, I think he's dedicated a whole chapter to that. But I really want to hear, Ernie, and I know we've got a caller on, and I refuse to talk very long when we got a caller that wants to get on, because it is your voice counts. And we're talking on what I consider the future mainstream media. Thank you, Mr. Stadtmiller, for letting us be on here. Ernie, please, when you get a chance here, please tell what happened to you and the Navy League.
Thanks, Ron.
Ernie, we got another break, and then we'll get on to the rest of the show. We're going to get our caller on. And then we'll go on to the other issues, because we've got a good hour to go here, so we've got a lot to talk about. So thank you, RBN. You know, real news, real talk, real people, because you can't handle the truth. Support your sponsors on RBN. See you in a moment.
Chlorine, fluoride, pathogens, and more are in the water you drink day to day. Do you want the ability to remove and reduce those harmful things in the water you drink? You can. How? With a Berkey water filter. A complete standalone gravity filter system that requires no electricity and no plumbing. Used for emergencies or for every day. Berkey systems come in 7 different sizes. Where can you get one? From GetBerkey.com. That's GetBerkey.com. With the purchase of each system, you get 50% off accessories, such as fluoride filters, water level spigot, and sport bottles. Plus free shipping on all orders over $25. For a limited time, get 5% off all ceramic systems when you use coupon code RBN. Call Get Berkey at 855-GET-BERKEY. That's 855-438-2375. Or visit GetBerkey.com. That's GetBerkey.com.
Don't answer it! How can I stop these annoying collection calls?
Imagine being free from your debt without settling and with no payment plan, no negotiating or filing bankruptcy, and no attorneys. What if you could eliminate the risk from all your unsecured debt in about 90 days and keep all your money? You can. It's called Zero Debt Guarantee, and it works. There's no other program of its kind on the planet, and we guarantee the results in writing. Call now, 800-477-9256. Let our team of experts provide you with the resources to fight back, stop collection calls, and prevent and stop wage garnishments and bank levies. If you're facing foreclosure, we can help. Don't go it alone. Get free information now by calling 800-477-9256. Talk to an expert who has also completed our program. Call 800-477-9256 for free info, or go to ZeroDebtGuarantee.com. That's 800-477-9256, or go to ZeroDebtGuarantee.com.
As business becomes more difficult, control of cash and the ability to borrow becomes critical. Working capital cash is your greatest insurance and guarantee of financial stability in these uncertain times. Equipment leasing allows you to obtain the income-producing equipment that your business needs and pay for it with tax-free, ever-devaluing dollars. Money that you've already earned and paid taxes on should be sparingly used. That is your reserve capital, safety net. We are also able to buy and lease back equipment that you already own and have depreciated, thereby making more cash available for your present-day needs. For a complete, comprehensive explanation as to how this financial truth will benefit your business future, call Bob New Incorporated at 888-639-2621. 888-639-2621. Keep your working capital cash reserves and borrowing capability. 888-639-2621.
They said that Israeli forces knew not of the liberty's true identity, and so they took advantage of the serenity. They attacked the silent ship, making a 40-foot hole in the starboard, killing 34 and wounding almost 200 more.
Welcome back, folks. Here we go to Your Voice Counts on this great radio station, RBN. And I hope, Ron, you're still on the line. If not, thank you for calling in. And we do have and I want to get into what Ron had asked Ernie a few seconds ago. We'll get into that, but I hate to keep the callers hanging on, so let's go ahead and take the first caller. If you many, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, how are you? Phil.
Yay, how you doing, Johnny?
I'm doing excellent. Thanks for a great show tonight, Phil, once again. Thank you for your heroic actions that day, for your guest, and all you do for God and country.
Well, God bless you. Thank you. I appreciate that very much, and I know my guest does too.
You know, it's just amazing the story that you have and how so many people are unaware of it. And I try to do my part, Phil, to spread the word of the USS Liberty. Whenever I see a man that is dressed in, has a U.S. Navy cap or any apparel on, I speak to them about the U.S. Liberty and give them the information, what I saw that day, dead in the water, and all those things. So important. You know, I'd like to ask both you and your guest, I forget his name, I'm sorry.
Mr. Ernie Gallo.
Mr. Ernie Gallo, and thank you for your service, too, to our country. What is the best thing to do to try to help awaken the people to the stranglehold that the Israeli lobby has over America and the USS Liberty? When you spread it to them, what's the best way to approach people on the USS Liberty and the egregious blind allegiance that most Christian evangelicals and Americans have towards Israel, especially Christian evangelicals?
Ernie, I'll let you take that one.
Well, I wish I knew the best, the right answer for that, except to keep talking about it, to keep talking to your neighbors, bring it up in church meetings and whatever, to tell the Liberty story. And a message from the Liberty story is that Congress was compelled by law to investigate the Liberty, and they failed to do it. They failed to do it because of the fear of being labeled anti-Semite. That's got to stop in this country. In other words, anybody should be able to investigate anything that appears to be an honest and objective thing that needs to be looked at, and congressmen should not be fearful of offending anybody, doing their job. That's how we got into this mess, and that's how things that are happening in the Middle East right now, where Congress doesn't exist, where they won't discuss anything that Israel does that's against our values, and as they have in the past. All I can say is keep talking about it. Let's keep letting everybody know about it, just like you're doing. Let's try as best we can to have meetings. One of the things I keep telling people is that if you want to have a church group listen to one of the survivors speak, you let me know, and I will try and get a survivor to your church meeting to actually tell their story about what happened.
That would be great, but I stopped going to the 501c3 churches a couple of years ago because I realized they become agents for the state, not agents for God. Once they've taken that tax-exempt number, so they can do their business tax-free, and they get their parishioners to get a tax deduction at the end of the year, I realized that they're not agents for God, but agents for the state. So unfortunately, I don't run in the church circles anymore.
Military veterans groups.
Yeah. I do have an American Legion thing, but do you think I had interviewed Bob Chapman once, and he talked about how some of the stuff that he talked with, because I used to do some broadcasting myself, and actually was able to interview Phillip Tourney and others about different subject matters. And Bob Chapman said, and God rest his soul because he passed away, and he was a veteran too. Yeah, he said that he couldn't have this discussion with a lot of older folks. Like, it would just break people's hearts at 70 years old. So sometimes I have to tread lightly with the older folks because I think Bob Chapman had some sense when it comes to some of the older folks. When it comes to a certain age, they don't want to hear it. And so I kind of try to straddle a fence in a sense and not trying to break their hearts like Bob Chapman said, because the conversation that I can have with you and Phil is different. And a lot of times I tell people things and you get a quick sense of how far you can go with it on a subject like that there was just a complete lack of failure of our government to rescue you guys that were out there that were left basically, as what that one video talks about, dead in the water. It's sad.
If that was the only thing, that would be, my point I'm trying to make here is the aftermath, all right, of what's happened since then, the cover-up and the things that has happened to Phil, and as he related to in his book, and things that have happened to me. The USS Liberty is the most decorated naval ship in our history, and we're being treated like criminals because we refuse to lie about what happened. I'm sorry about the 7-year-olds that would be upset that America is not the rosy place that they think they're living in. But what I'm trying to say here is that if we don't get up and pound our chests and let everybody know that that this country is going down the wrong path.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, Billy Graham in his secret tapes when he was talking with Nixon talked about this Jewish stranglehold that had a complete stranglehold on the country and is bringing it right down the drain. And I would call it a Zionist stranglehold, and that's what we have. When you have AIPAC and ADL and the likes and all their agents, just spewing all this Israeli first nonsense. And, you know, you can't serve two masters. You cannot serve Israel and America. You know, just like the Bible says, you can't serve God and mammon. And most of these politicians, most of these people in the pulpit have sold their soul to the devil, okay? Because they don't want to speak against Israel. Well, people don't understand, and what I try to tell people, too, is that when I meet them and try to enlighten them, is that the current state of Israel is not the same Israel that is portrayed in the Bible, that is placed in the Bible. You know, I try to get people to read a book by Jack Bernstein, who in 1967 moved to Israel. And when he went there for 5 years, he saw he called it the title of his book is, I don't know if you gentlemen read it, called An American Jew Living in a Marxist Racist Israel. And that's what Israel is and was and will continue to be. And I sit in awe of men that were so brave, like you guys, and to handle that situation that you did on the water, when no help came, when your government forsook you that day. It's just an incredible story, and the bravery that and the compassion and the love that you men have shown to one another on that ship, and then afterwards to continue to stand fast in the truth and to try to get this message out, because it is essential for what is happening today. And it's sort of like what Michael Collins Piper wrote in his book, Confessions of an Anti-Semite. He said that usury is the central issue to understanding war throughout history. And until you know who has lent what to whom, you know nothing of history, nothing of politics, or nothing of international wrangles. And that was a quote from Ezra Pound that Michael Collins Piper had put in his book. And the usury that is being perpetrated on the American people and the people of the world by this coterie of international bankers, mostly Zionist Jews, that really only care about mammon or money, and they care nothing about God. As Marx said in his writings, Karl Marx, he said money is the God of the Jews. And it's great to listen to you men discuss this important story, because what we have going on in the Middle East is ready to blow up. And I've heard Phil say they might have planned, or we were very close to having us go to a nuclear blowing up Egypt and a nuclear war breaking out in Egypt and blaming it on America. And when I was listening to you earlier, sir, you don't believe that could have been part of a plan to get us involved in a wider conflict for Israel at that time by blaming it on Egypt?
Absolutely not.
Okay. So you think it was just maybe a misidentified ship in that waters?
Oh no, they knew exactly who we were.
Okay.
What happened was the war started on the 5th of June. We arrived on June 8th. I think they were initially a little bit surprised to see that we were there. Are you going to take a break?
We're going to take a break. Ernie and Johnny, hang on, Johnny. Don't leave. Folks, again, support your sponsors on RBN. Real news, real talk, real people, because you can handle the truth. And we'll see in just a moment. Great radio show. Great show today. Thank you.
As many of you know, natural supplements are fantastic for your body and have zero side effects. You need to restore your body's natural balance. TerraVim strives to carry only the highest quality dietary supplements and natural vitamins that can be beneficial in helping your body recover from the impact of daily stress, allergens, illness, environmental pollution, and the aging process. Why buy from TerraVim? Simple. TerraVim provides a rewards program. Earn $1 for every $10 spent, free health consultations, free shipping on all orders, and an additional 10% discount on every order when you mention the coupon code RBN. Call 866-647-4372. That's 866-647-4372, or go to terravim.com. That's Terravim.com. Terravim, the best supplements on earth.
Do you flinch when a police car appears in your rearview mirror, or you get pulled over? Are you squeamish when an envelope arrives in the mail with the return address of a court, a government agency like the IRS, or some law firm? Would you like to escape government agency harassment? Then visit escapeharassment.com. George Bush allegedly says, the government constitution is nothing but a doggone piece of paper. Well, that's a contract. A contract is an offer acceptance of that offer, at which point a contract arrives by law and the offerer can no longer withdraw the offer. We teach, do not accept. That way there is no contract or agreement for you to go to their court or private club meeting. To escape government agency harassment like the IRS, visit escapeharassment.com. This is a tried and proven experienced process, not experimental, with a money-back guarantee that it works and success testimonials from previous students. Remember, escapeharassment.com. That's escapeharassment.com.
Herbal Healer Academy's new summer specials. Our 500 parts per million colloidal silver, all sizes on sale. Organic liquid iodine, liquid cal, mag, vitamin D, CoQ10 with hawthorn, colon enhancer, Super 2, natural laxative. Our exceptional product Connexin, memory power, and super male and femplex. All on sale for the summer at herbalhealer.com. Also, 10% off on the HHA Survival Course. This is an important time to have this information. Might save your life. Nation's leader in supplying quality natural medicine and education. herbalhealer.com. Free online newsletter. Quality natural medicine supplier since 1988. We ship the same day you place your order. Free 128-page catalog with your first order. Go to herbalhealer.com today. herbalhealer.com.
Well, the time has finally come for the story to be told that should have been listened to a long time ago. In 1967, on the 8th day of June, came the attack of the Liberty and the needless loss.
Welcome back, folks. Here we go to Your Voice Counts. Thank you for hanging on. Certainly appreciate it very, very, very much. And I wanted to comment just a bit on what Johnny said. Now, when I wrote my book, I did a lot of research and I talked to a lot of different people. And my understanding was, from very reputable people, which are in my book, and by the way, it's in the 3rd printing right now, and it's doing very well. Thank God for that. But there were 2 aircraft flown off the. Now, this is respectfully said, not to discredit my shipmate or anything like that. Just what's in my book. But there were 2 aircraft off the USS America that were nuclear tipped, headed to Cairo to incinerate Cairo. Now, I get this information from not only the people aboard the USS America, but I also get it from other sources that do not want to be named. But I understand Ernie might not agree with that, and that's fine, because we can all agree to disagree, because there's nothing wrong with that. That's what brings in good dialogue.
No,
so,
Bill, I don't disagree with you. The planes were headed to Egypt and to Cairo.
Right.
And Admiral Porter, Ambassador Porter, has indicated that he saw a message indicating that the planes were coming. No, and of course they were recalled. Now, what I'm saying is that the reason that the Israelis attacked the USS Liberty was because we were an impediment to their war plan. Now, I'm not saying that we didn't know the war plans ahead of time, but if you look at the sequence of events, what they hadn't done as of June 8th was to take the Golan Heights, and they did that the next day. So the fact that they had to move troops off of the Sinai and move them over to the border of Syria was an absolute necessity. Secrecy was an absolute necessity. So therefore, they would assume that we were picking up radio traffic to indicate that that was taking place. And the fact that we knew their war plan ahead of time, and what was happening in Washington was that Brezhnev was on the hotline with Johnson telling him that the Russians were going to get into the war if the Israelis didn't stop invading countries Syria and Egypt were both their client states. Of course, Egypt had gotten their butt kicked, and now Syria was next, and that was obvious to them. And they had paratroopers at the ready, and they were ready to send them in. So Johnson wanted to put a halt to this as fast as he could, and he was telling the Israelis to knock it off and come to the peace table. And they weren't ready. And so I guess they had to send us a message that, listen, we're going to tell you what to do, that you keep the Soviets off our back, but we're taking care of business here in Palestine.
Well, thank you for the clarification and your honest response. And Johnny, do you have anything to add to that, or?
Yeah, well, that's interesting insight that your shipmate has, and obviously he has some knowledge that goes far beyond what I know. But I truly believe, as you commented there, I kind of wonder who runs who. Is Israel really running America, or is America running Israel? And it appears to me that Israel is running America. I'd like to comment from your shipmate there.
No argument. No argument. And it's done through Congress. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it is such a shame that we have became, I guess, a colony of Israel. I mean, it's so blatantly obvious. I mean, they just signed with this new security enhancement partnership with Israel, and I forget how many billions of dollars. I think it's $9 million. I mean, we have people here that are living on food stamps. 1 out of 7 or 1 out of 6 people on food stamps. But there's more aid for the people in Israel. So the roads will crumble, the bridges will fall apart. People will be dying. We got to cut your food stamps, but there's plenty of money for Israel. As Eric Cantor, that big Zionist Jew, for a Republican, and to me, the guy makes me sick. And I don't care if they got an R in front of their name or a D in front of their name. They're always bound to Israel, and that's why they targeted Jim trafficking. That's why they kicked out Congressman Finley. I mean, he wrote a great book called Deliberate Deceptions, the myths of the U.S. and the Israelis' relationship. And it's so apparent there, my friends.
Friends, we got another break. Then we got a long run, about an 18, 19 minute run. So just hang on. What a very interesting show. I'll tell you what a great one. So just hang on. God bless America, no doubt, and let's pray for the poor souls that lost their lives in Colorado today. God bless you.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
A healthy heart starts with Extendovite. I've always believed that I had to have a strong defense to overcome the new superbugs of today. Extendovite, a 7-herb heart protection cocktail, not only helped me to overcome a massive heart attack, but it also has built up my natural immune defenses against colds and flus. Extendovite has so many benefits that we all should be taking Extendovite to build up our defenses for what superbugs might emerge yet. So start today, clean out the toxins, and be as healthy as you can be. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822, or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Hey, honey, I'm home. I grabbed the newspaper on the way home. Look at all the news today.
Don't you know that all you're going to get in the newspaper is propaganda, twisted news, and false information?
Honey, this is a national newspaper. It has to be true.
Ha! For some reason, the majority of the population believe anything the mainstream media tells them. The newspaper doesn't give out the important attention of what's happening to this country and news that affects our daily lives. Say, does that newspaper mention anything about the North American Union?
No, not that I can see.
I didn't think so. You need to go to www.newswithviews.com, where truth is more important than political correctness. That's www.newswithviews.com. Hey, don't throw that away. We can use that in the birdcage.
Okay, move over. Let me start reading newswithviews.com.
The truth? Read all about it at newswithviews.com. Newswithviews.com, where reality shatters illusion.
If you're the mother of a child with behavior problems, I'd like to talk to you. My name is Janet Lehman. I'm a behavioral therapist and a mom. I know what it's like when the child you love becomes a defiant, out-of-control child who disrespects you. That's why my husband James and I created the Total Transformation, the program that tens of thousands of moms are now using to turn around their child's behavior. If you've heard about the Total Transformation and wondered if it will work for you, now you can try it for free. I'm willing to give away 1,000 programs today for free. All you need to do is get the program and let us know how it works for you. We'll let you keep it for free. I know the Total Transformation works because I used these techniques with my own son and with troubled kids for over 30 years. Let me prove to you that it works by giving you the program for free.
Call now. 1-800-583-1093. 1-800-583-1093. That's 1-800-583-1093.
Welcome back, folks. I really hate to cut off this beautiful voice of Kat, but I want everybody to know if you would like to get the CDs of Kat, get a hold of me at TONKTIME, the numeral 5, tongue-time5 at yahoo.com. tongue-time5 @yahoo.com, and we'll make arrangements to get them to you. But listen, I wanted to getting into something very, very important. I hope, Johnny, you're still there. We had a War Crimes Commission that was, I think that was introduced by Mr. Gallo. And I remember back when we gave the first USS Liberty Veterans Award to Admiral Thomas Moore, the only admiral that has served in the Atlantic Pacific Fleet, and then the JCS. And what I'd like to ask you, Ernie, is that the War Crimes Commission, I think you introduced that, if I'm not mistaken. They pushed it under the rug, and also the Moore Forum on the validity of the attack on the USS Liberty was not a mistake, but a case of deliberate action by a hostile nation. Now, am I correct on that, Ernie?
Absolutely, yes. No argument there. But I think what you're referring to is the War Crimes Report that we submitted to the Pentagon June 8th of 2005.
Right, absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, we followed the Pentagon's procedures. We felt we had a valid war crimes report that needed to be investigated, and we had a lawyer make sure that two lawyers make sure that all the I's were dotted and T's were crossed, and submitted it. And they came back and said, no, we're not going to investigate it because the Navy Court of Inquiry is the official document that resolves the attack. And as the Navy Court of Inquiry was a farce, where Admiral McCain was involved in London. The Navy Court of Inquiry was a complete falsehood. The testimony that was given by the Liberty crewmen was disregarded, and it was what can I say? The White House, President Johnson gave the orders to falsify the report, and that is, what can I say? Our rights as military personnel were violated because of his intercession to create a bogus report.
Now, we got a bogus report. We all know that, and we know that we had to go through the Army to submit this report. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay. Then we have the Admiral. See, this went to Admiral Moore report, and they had a commission that went on for what, 3 days. And they found that it was the government of Israel was found guilty of all crimes and misdemeanors on a ship, unarmed ship, and the high seas, and they put that under the rug too.
And you know, that report was entered into the congressional record by Congressman Stennis, I think, from New York.
It was Stennis, absolutely.
Yeah, it was entered into the congressional report in 2004, I believe it was, and Congress has still turned their backs on us.
Well, you know, I wonder, Ernie, as hard-headed as we are in trying to bring justice, not only to us, because when Israel attacked an unarmed American ship in international waters and murdered our crewmates and tried to murder you, that's attempted murder. Same thing they did to me. And they got by with it without even a scuff. So here we are in the present day. I'm going to bring us up to the present day. Israel is biting at the tooth for us to go to war with Iran and Syria. Now, what is your prediction on that, Ernie? Do you have one, or do you feel like talking about it?
My personal view is that the fighting will probably start in October, just before the elections. That's my personal view. But I have nothing else to indicate that. Just from the politics of things, from the way I feel this country is going. Sorry, I can't give you more than that, but I'm sorry.
Well, no, Ernie, you gave me plenty, and then I'm gonna bring Johnny back in. But I do have to ask one thing that we talked about earlier, and I knew I was going to bring it back in, was that your tenacity and your love of country to the Naval League. Explain to the listeners what happened to you, please.
Well, I was warmly welcomed into a particular council, the St. Augustine Council, when I gave a speech about the Liberty, and things were just hunky-dory for years. In fact, I started a used book program, which is called the Captain William McGonigal Memorial Library. And he was our skipper on the USS Liberty, received the Medal of Honor. And people give me used books, and I box them up, and I take them out to the various commands at Mayport Naval Base and Coast Guard Base up in Mayport and other facilities. And I talked a little bit about Captain McGonigal, and I never hid the fact that part of what I do is to keep his name alive and also the USS Liberty name alive. Anyway, in 2010, we got a new president of that council, and he was a Israeli supporter, and it was downhill right from the get-go. And he, because I asked a question at a meeting, God forbid I should imply that we not support Israel when they're doing something wrong. And I was kicked out of the council, and they tried to kick me out of the Navy League completely. I went to Washington and I pleaded for their help to stop what was happening. In the meantime, I've moved my allegiance to the Daytona Beach Navy League, which I was warmly welcomed, and I am there now. And their attempts to kick me out failed, and the matter was dropped. The point is, I was labeled an anti-Semitic, and I was labeled a conspiracy theorist. And the whole point is, especially when I talk to our Navy personnel, and my fear is that history repeats itself. And since Israel was never had their hands slapped for attacking an American ship, killing 34, attempting to murder 294 Americans, they'll do it again. So I want these Navy personnel, the ships to go out of Mayport today, to if they're around the Israeli Defense Forces, to watch their back. In other words, don't trust them, because there isn't an American politician today that's going to come to your aid should something happen. So do whatever you have to do to stay safe.
Wow, that's one hell of a statement, I'll tell you that. Johnny, can you respond to that?
Well, he's certainly right. Your brother-in-arms there is absolutely spot on. There's not a congressman that would come to your aid, or a senator for that matter. I believe these politicians are much like prostitutes. You know, they've prostituted themselves to Israel. Any senator or congressman who comes against Israel will be blackballed, called an anti-Semite. A tax evasion scandal will come upon him. That's why they targeted James Trafficant. This is just how they do business. I believe this whole political process is shot, but I truly believe that, you know, it is so important for men like yourself, Phil, and Brother Ernie, to speak about, you know, the truth. Because as the Word of God says, that he asked us in Psalm 25:5, and I believe that's what you gentlemen are doing. It says, Lord, lead me in the truth and teach me. And you gentlemen have educated me tremendously, Phil, over the times that I've been listening to you, and a couple of times I've been privileged to interview you. I've learned tremendously. And listening to your brother here, Ernie, you know, I'm thinking I'm going to talk to my father-in-law, see if the American Legion wants to hear somebody from the USS Liberty speak about the most decorated ship in USS history, and give them a lesson, because most people, I'm sure down at the American Legion, have no clue to what's going on, you know. And I want to be a person of action. I never served in the military, but I want to be a person that speaks the truth. And I stand for God and for our country. As much as I love America, I realize America is not what I was taught it was. And I believe with people like you, Phil, and your shipmate here, and others like Ronnie, that have been so persevered through such humiliation. Look, this man got kicked out of this Navy League. And, you know, I don't know if there's a Navy League up here, but I'd love for him or Phil or any of you guys from the USS Liberty to come. I'll welcome you in my house.
I have a beautiful travel trailer I'll put you up in for the time. My wife will cook you nice meals. And I'd love you to speak to somebody. I'll get you a big group, whatever I can, to speak, to educate these people, because what you have to say is so powerful and so important. And I just pray double destruction like Jeremiah talks about, or Officer Jack McLean would say. I pray double destruction upon our enemies, the enemies that are the enemies of Christianity. And it's because you men are so brave and have suffered so much, not just the attack, but the aftermath. And you know, people labeling you with all these stupid names. But really, Zionism is the biggest problem that the world is facing. And, you know, that is the problem of the Jewish people, you know. And, you know, Israelis are going to soon find that they're in the middle of a nuclear war there. You know, and it's not going to be good for the Jews that are living in Israel now. So I pray for the peace of all people, for the people of Palestine, for the people of Israel, for the people of America, Afghanistan, and Iraq. And I understand these moneylenders are the ones that are perpetrating this war. And
I just, you listen, man. You've been such a great foundation of what's going on and what you say. And listen, we're not out to hurt anybody. All we want is the truth, and we don't want anybody else getting killed. And we don't want anybody. Listen, I'm afraid for the whole world, not just the United States of America, which I love dearly. And I think that's why Ernie keeps on this trail. He doesn't have to do this. I don't have to do this. But we do it because, listen, when a person puts a gun to your head and pulls the trigger and the bullet doesn't go off, it pisses you off. And that's what they did to us. And the other guys, the bullets did go off. And their deaths, and their destiny, and their honor. Again, that's why I do this show, and that's why I get great people on my show like Ernie Gallo, a fellow shipmate. And I'm going to tell you what, Johnny, you've always been a great supporter, a great person, and thank you for your invite. And I'll tell you what, buddy, I'm going to take you up on it. God bless you.
Hey, man, I'll show you around New York. I had my buddy from Liberty Broadcasting Network that came over, showed him around the town. We ate at Little Italy. We had a great time with him and his daughter. I'll treat you the way, you know, you should be treated, as a hero, you know, but you're a man of God more than anything else, and I really appreciate that, buddy, and I'd love to meet you in person. It'd be an honor, and I'll try to hook you up with somebody that wants to listen to you, whether it's the guys at the American Legion that my father-in-law goes to, or a church group, because I know plenty of church groups that might listen. I know a small church group, but I'd like to get to a bigger venue. But these bigger churches have really been sold out, so I have a major problem with these 501c3 corporation churches. But, you know, I thank God, and I want to pray for both of you men, because I know we're coming up near the next break and possibly the end of the show. I want to thank the good Lord for Phil and Ernie and all the survivors of Liberty, and I pray for those brethren that passed on the USS Liberty. And I just pray that God continues to give both Phil and Ernie and the rest of the survivors, Ronnie, I know he might be out there, you know, the courage and the strength for the days that are to come. And Lord, just as you gave Joshua.
Thanks, Johnny. We got one more caller. Oh. And listen, man, call back in next week. Want to talk to you again, all right? Hello, I guess we got Rachel. Rachel there.
Hi, Phil. Thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome, Rachel. What do you got to say?
Well, you know what, and I think on the USS Liberty that they were trying to get, they were, you know, afraid that it would leak out that the Israelis want to go after Golan Heights. You know, my family had to leave Syria because I'm of Syrian descent, because they want to get, the Jews want to get the grubby hands on the Golan Heights, and it's, you know, these just kind of scattered all over the place. And also, I'd like to get Ernie actually to speak at my church, so if I can get some information on that.
Hang on, stick on the phone. We've got a little bit of time left here, and you can talk to Ernie and ask him about that. But folks, support your sponsors, RBN. God bless you. See you in just a bit.
But I also want to say, oh, is there a commercial?
Hey, honey, I'm home. I grabbed a newspaper on the way home. Look at all the news today.
Don't you know that all you're going to get in the newspaper is propaganda, twisted news, and false information?
Honey, this is a national newspaper. It has to be true.
Ha! For some reason, the majority of the population believe anything the mainstream media tells them. The newspaper doesn't give out the important attention of what's happening to this country and news that affects our daily lives. Say, does that newspaper mention anything about the North American Union?
No, not that I can see.
I didn't think so. You need to go to www.newswithviews.com, where truth is more important than political correctness. That's www.newswithviews.com. Hey, don't throw that away. We can use that in the birdcage.
Okay, move over. Let me start reading newswithviews.com.
The truth? Read all about it at newswithviews.com. Newswithviews.com, where reality shatters illusion.
If you're the mother of a child with behavior problems, I'd like to talk to you. My name is Janet Lehman. I'm a behavioral therapist and a mom. I know what it's like when the child you love becomes a defiant, out-of-control child who disrespects you. That's why my husband James and I created the Total Transformation, the program that tens of thousands of moms are now using to turn around their child's behavior. If you've heard about the Total Transformation and wondered if it will work for you, now you can try it for free. I'm willing to give away 1,000 programs today for free. All you need to do is get the program and let us know how it works for you. We'll let you keep it for free. I know the Total Transformation works because I used these techniques with my own son and with troubled kids for over 30 years. Let me prove to you that it works by giving you the program for free.
Call now. 1-800-583-1093. 1-800-583-1093. That's 1-800-583-1093.
Hey there. My name is Frank Bates. What I'm about to tell you in the next 60 seconds could get me in a lot of trouble. I just created a free video presentation at /power123.com that exposes the electricity monopolies and government agencies for what they really are. Incompetent, lying crooks that are counting on your ignorance and fear to keep your power bills criminally high. Some have called this a conspiracy. Others have called it a cover-up, and you will be shocked to find out how deep the conspiracy goes. My video at /power123.com exposes the truth and shows you the secret of how I beat them and how you can beat them too. Watch the controversial video that thousands of other smart patriots have already seen in the last 3 months. Go to /power123.com and discover one weird trick to slash your power bill and protect your home. Go watch my video now at /power123.com before they force me to shut it down. Again, that's /power123.com.
They said that Israeli forces.
Folks, I hate to cut in on Kat's beautiful voice, but we're getting short on the show, and I just wanted to, really appreciate, the callers and the people that really care about this great country. And I also want to, especially thank, the producer, board manager at RBN Manny. He's just a super guy. He takes care of me. Here I had to go on a different phone because my other phone went dead and nothing got broke or anything like that, and we did it. And it's, just one of those things that I certainly appreciate. And support RBN. Please support RBN. And I want you to support a person, that has got my great respect, Ernie Gallo. And I'd love to have Ernie Gallo back on my show again if he would please come on. And I want to also thank Ron Kukul being on air with us. And, I'll tell you what, we have just a little bit of time left. So I'm going to have to cut you loose here, Rachel. And I'll get you back on next week. I'm sorry, but I wanted to get Ernie's closing thoughts, and we'll go with that to close out the show because we just got a few minutes left. So let's do that, Ernie. What do you think, buddy? What do you want to say?
Wow. I appreciate this so much, Phil. Yeah, I'll be back on your show. When our founding fathers created this country, he gave us, they created one of the most humane governments that this world has ever known. And it's, and they created, a tripartite form of government with three distinct government agencies or government mechanisms. Of course, the Congress, the executive, and the legislative. Judicial, excuse me. And that inherent and design gives us checks and balances. That's all being threatened right now because Congress fails to exercise their responsibility to debate things that happen. And the values that we were given, that I was brought up with, have been jeopardized because, and the world is looking at us and seeing the same thing, that we're not living up to them because we want to support Israel, and Israel is doing what it wants to do for its own benefit. There are times when we need to back away, and we don't. And just as your caller indicated, this year we're going to give them $9 billion in military support and foreign aid. That's part of a missile defense system that we're giving them. Israel is the 22nd most richest country in the world. Enough is enough. We can't afford it anymore. And our congressmen don't realize that. Our congressmen don't have the backbone to say enough is enough.
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't think they do either. And God bless you, Ernie, and thank you for coming on my radio show, Your Voice Counts. Thank you, RBN. Thank you, Manny. God bless America. And I'll be looking forward to the next show, Ernie. Thank you.
Okay.
Was it some sort of game of treason? Or was it just some kind of horrible lie?
When the collapse comes, are you going to be fortified with